And we are back. I spent the better part of most of Sunday working on the old Kent Eagle Ridge. It might also look a little bit different because I took a lot of the decals off. They were so scratched up, I thought it would look better. So decals are gone off the fork. I like the Kent GR, gravel I guess is what that stands for. And anyway, so as far as all the stuff I did to it, I mean, I went tip to tail, going through, repacking the wheel bearings. Those actually had a fair amount of grease from the factory. Kind of surprised there, but with proper adjustment they probably would have been okay for a little while. Bottom bracket was a completely different story. It was a little bit of grease, but pretty dry, wouldn't last very long. It was also really loose right out of the box, and it loosened up, it seems, on the first ride that I took it on, so it'll be interesting to see now with it adjusted properly how long that lasts. And then headset bone dry, completely no grease in there, hardly. If there was, it was more like an oil. So I'm about to go take this thing on a ride. That'll be kind of the next video, but I'm just trying to wrap up everything that I did yesterday. So the biggest problem I had was that front wheel. It was really out of true as I tried to show on the camera, and it does appear that something got into this bike, because there is a little bit of a ding on this front fork right there, and then the front wheel was pretty out of whack, and I found some evidence of damage to the rim itself. So I gave it a little mechanical persuasion, and seems to be fairly straight. It's got a little bit of a hop in it just from the extra tension that it needed to sort of bring it back into the right shape, but it is fairly well balanced as far as the spoke tension all the way around the wheel, and left and right, non-drive side, drive side. Rear wheel was in pretty good shape, didn't need much. Now one thing I noticed, I've ridden this thing up and down the street a little bit, it felt like the preload adjustment on the hubs did indeed loosen up a little bit just from riding around a little bit. So I don't know if that was just an error in how much I tightened down the lock nuts, or if that is something that I'll have to keep an eye on with these really inexpensive pressed steel hubs, but I have experienced that in the past with these things. So that kind of tidies up everything with the drivetrain. The derailleurs really weren't too bad. I had to just make a little small limit screw adjustment on the large ring of the front derailleur. That's pretty simple though, because it's a friction type shifter that Shimano has set up on this front shifter over here. The rear, again, the cable tension was way too loose, so of course I just corrected all that. The other thing I did too was I shortened a lot of the, basically all these pieces of housing. Just was too much cable, and that kind of neatens up the front end of it a little bit as well. Put a little rubber bumper, you can see that on the rear brake cable as it goes across the top tube there. That's kind of hidden around this side, so you may not see it in the camera's view. The brakes were the other biggest issue I had getting those things set up. They're inexpensive mechanical discs. They tend to be a little finicky to adjust properly, and that rear rotor was pretty messed up as far as having some imperfections in it, and it's still not perfect. That was the root of the pulsing that I would get under the rear brake, but it's quite a bit better, and everything spins freely. I'm not hearing anything drag. I finally got that sorted today. That was kind of the last thing I was messing with last night because it was getting really late. The other reason I stayed up too late last night was after I finished up out here, it was just, I was hot. I'd been out in the garage all day. It's 100 degrees probably right now in here. I turned the fan off, so I'm trying to hurry up and get this done, but last night I was definitely over being out here. So I went inside and started ordering stuff on Alibaba Express. So it'll probably be another month or 2 months or however long it takes here, 90 days. I don't know how long it's going to take with everything going on with the pandemic, but I've got some things on the way that will, I think, definitely improve the way the bike is, but that'll give me plenty of time to ride it around, put some miles on it, and see what I think of it and how it holds up under stock form. One thing I did order for it, I'm not really spoiling much here, I did order an aluminum, just single bolt clamp, inexpensive seat post off of Amazon. I'll probably go ahead and throw that on there just because I prefer those anyway, but other than that, I'm going to be riding this thing in pretty much stock form as you see it here until the parts that I need come in, and that'll be forthcoming as far as what information I have on that, but needless to say, I think it's going to greatly improve the way this bike is. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up, and the next time you see me will be riding the bike, which I'm going to be doing right now, but that'll be a few days beyond when this gets uploaded to YouTube. And I appreciate you watching. Feel free to comment, tell me what you'd like to see, what you think of the bike. Enjoy the video, and I would also appreciate you subscribing to my channel just so I can see if I can maybe hit the magic number of 1,000 subscribers. That's my first goal. So thank you very much for watching again, and see you next time.